Grand Avenue, and then just last night we had two individuals who were shot in Bronx at the Bronx Lebanon Hospital. Today we're here to gather together to plan together as a community as to what we could do, what strategies we can implement, and to be proactive. So at this moment, I'm going to turn it over to my wonderful speaker, and she could give opening remarks.
Thank you. Well, first, I want to thank very much Councilmember Cabrera for hosting us. I want to thank the Borough President and the Deputy Borough President for being with us. I know we have a representative from Councilmember Helen Foster's office, and Helen hopes to be able to join us. But most importantly, I want to thank all of you community leaders and members who've come here this afternoon. As Fernando said, in the past really 2 days, we have seen a number of unacceptable and very upsetting shootings in the Bronx. This comes after an unthinkably tragic shooting and death of a mother in Brooklyn who literally gave her life to protect her own children and children that really may not even have known that weren't her own children. And those three incidents are not, I could go on and on, those are not the sum total, tragically, of what we have seen recently in the city. One thing the council is doing in response to this is chaired by Councilmember Cabrera and Councilmember Jamani Williams of Brooklyn. We've pulled together a gun violence task force that will begin meeting in the next week or so. We have about 25 or 30 members from across the city. The goal of that task force is to come up with as many specific ideas as we can, particularly with a vision of being fully prepared with a new set of actions by the summertime, but not waiting till then, for what we can do to deal with the rise in gun violence. We called everyone together today because although that task force is very important and is going to have some long-term work, we wanted to pull everybody together today for 2 or 3 reasons. One, this is your borough. These are your neighborhoods. We need to know what you need us to do more of. Not everything you might think we should do, we can do. But I think if we all talk about what we can do, we will find things we can do that will help. 2, the work of the task force is longer term. And we don't want to wait for that work when we need to respond to things immediately to send a message about what is and isn't acceptable. So we really wanted to come today to first and foremost say this type of violence has to come to an end. We cannot have weeks that seem to begin and end with people being shot and killed in our neighborhood, particularly young people, children being shot in our neighborhoods. 2, to say we in the council know the best ideas for how to deal with community violence come from the community. And we are asking you to help us do a better job keeping our neighborhoods safe, because clearly more needs to be done. We are very grateful to the police for their work, but more than just policing needs to be done to prevent these crimes from occurring. So we'll hear in a second from our terrific Deputy Borough President. She and Borough President Diaz are always there when we need them, and then we will really turn it open to all of you to give us ideas and suggestions, immediate and longer term. And I will thank you in advance because having come to this meeting, you are now trapped in the long-term efforts of the City Council to get these issues under control. And you know, the truth is, part of this is law enforcement, them doing the best job they can do. Part of this, the mayor's right, is getting the federal gun laws changed to get illegal guns off of our streets. But there is more we can all do beyond that. And that is what we need to sketch out today in greater detail for this neighborhood and the borough of the Bronx, and then eventually citywide. So thank you all for coming so very quickly, and let me turn it over to our terrific Deputy Borough President.
Thank you. I want to first start off by thanking you, Speaker Quinn, and also Councilman Cabrera for calling this meeting together, because it's so essential. We cannot close our eyes to the violence that we're seeing happen within our community. I want to start off by reading the statement from Borough President Diaz when we learned of the shooting of the 4-year-old. He said, "I'm deeply saddened by last night's incident on Grand Avenue where a 4-year-old boy fell victim to gun violence and is now fighting for his life. My heart goes out to the family as we keep little Sincer Balthazar in our prayers and hope for his quick recovery. It's disappointing to see these senseless acts being committed in our borough. I know I speak for all Bronxites in condemning this despicable, cowardly act. This violence must stop. My office will continue to work to take as many illegal guns off of our streets as we possibly can. I urge all Bronxites with knowledge of illegal guns in their community to call 866 Gun Stop to anonymously report those guns to the police, a program that my office continues to promote through our Peace in Our Streets campaign. And I just want to say that the borough president is very sensitive to this. He's very sensitive to this because his mantra is, we are one Bronx, and we have to be our brothers and keepers watchdogs. We have to help each other. The borough president's appeal is to Bronxites, asking them to cooperate and to assist the police in whatever way they can, and also urging them to help our young people, because all too often these are children who have gone astray, and no one is talking to them except gangs and gang leaders. We need to start talking to our own children. We need to talk to our children's friends. We need to really bring them to the understanding of realizing that when they kill something on their video games, it's not the same as killing a human being. We are all precious in the sight of God. And I am very, very passionate. The borough president is very passionate about this. He works on that Peace in the Streets every year, trying to get the message across that illegal guns have to come off of our streets. But we also have to cooperate with the police department.
Let me just, I'm sorry, if I could just, before I turn over the councilmember and then open up, let me just give you some ideas of things we've done in other neighborhoods, which we're not bound to, but just to give you a sense of things we've done that might help frame the conversation. Also in Councilmember Cabrera's district, you'll remember about a year and a half ago now, there was a terrible gang attack, an anti-gay gang attack. As in response to that, in addition to the law enforcement part, the school across the street from where the attack occurred, their schoolyard wasn't done. We got Coca-Cola to redo their schoolyard, to do a lovely garden, and to give funding to rehab part of the rec center in the neighborhood. We also got Coca-Cola to fix recently the tennis court at Boys and Girls High School so the tennis team there could get up and going again. In Staten Island, not last summer, the summer before, we had a wave of attacks on the North Shore there. We worked there and got security cameras, and the councilman can tell you something he's done on that. In that case, what was needed was security cameras for private small businesses. The city can't give money for that, but we were able to do a public-private partnership, get outside funding, get those security cameras for the small businesses, with the caveat that just the small business owners had to agree if the police came and asked you for a tape, you would give it to them. So, and then in Harlem, a couple of summers ago, what we saw in response to the gang violence there, and I don't know if you've seen this in the Bronx, where the gangs were putting up graffiti, basically trying to send a message, don't talk to the police. So one building in East Harlem had a huge rat with a noose around its neck, and there was a big, written over the rat was, stop snitching. So we went up, some reverends, some moms, myself, and painted over the rat and painted over this graffiti anywhere that we saw it. So those are some of the things, just to give you, a place to start. But let me just throw it to Fernando, and then we'll open it up.
No, definitely, and I appreciate all the suggestions you're giving. And some of the things that we already put into motion are for police department security, police department cameras. That are going to go all throughout the district. We allocated $600,000 for neighborhood cameras and another $400,000 in public housing. So about $1 million out of the councilmatic budget for this district in capital funding is going to go to cameras. We are asking for those cameras to be expedited. We cannot wait. We need them now. The community is asking for those cameras. We know that when cameras are implemented into a community, crime goes down 60%. Those who bring elements of crime are very aware that they're going to be in candy camera, and so we're pushing that forward. The other piece, in terms of graffiti, we also put some funding in this district for the removal of graffiti. That's in the process. But one piece that I wanted to hear from the community is the whole issue of gangs. As you know, that the incident took place in Lebanon, Bronx, Lebanon, involved gang members. And then we have what is often called crews. And this crews is small bandits of young people that come together to get involved in assaults and robberies. And what we need is a New York City comprehensive program that focuses on gang prevention and intervention. California put $25 million statewide during the recession to address these issues. New York State had it a couple of years ago, and just last year, the program, the SNUG program, comes backwards, was removed. It was eliminated. And one of the things that I want to accentuate is the fact that the SNUG program was not in the Bronx. That just blows my mind, that we could have a gang prevention program, intervention program, and yet not having it in the Bronx. So we're calling upon the mayor through his young initiative, Young Men's Initiative, to be able to give us the resources to have such a program right here in the Bronx.
Great.
And of course, I'm sure everybody's gonna talk about more police presence. That goes without saying. Can I say something in Spanish? 'Cause
Oh,
I know we
please,
have the
please.
Spanish media.
I wish I could, but I can't. I saw my high school Spanish teacher on Saturday, and she had seen me on TV say a sentence. She was not happy. Not happy at all.
Bueno, buenas tardes, gracias por estar aquí, el canal 41 y 47. Estamos aquí en esta tarde sobre el asunto del niño de 4 años que fue herido por ese incidente aquí en la avenida de Grand Avenue, y también lo que ocurrió en Bronx, Lebanon, en el hospital de Bronx, Lebanon. Esto es una situación donde tenemos pandillas que esas pandillas están tratando de afectar el clima, la atmósfera de nuestra comunidad, y estamos aquí en esta tarde para ver y oír de los líderes de la comunidad qué estrategia podemos implementar para parar estos crímenes, porque ya nuestra comunidad estamos cansados de ver esto. En esta comunidad ya estamos cansados de ver de estos crímenes que están ocurriendo donde los niños, imagínense, niños, un niño recibió 2 balazos, estando en el hospital, alguien que fue ahí al hospital, en un lugar que en verdad es un lugar seguro, anoche 2 fueron heridos. Pues estamos aquí porque estamos diciendo que ya no podemos seguir en esta manera, y estamos aquí con la portavoz, Quinn, con la diputada del condado del Bronx, Aurelia Green, y los líderes de la comunidad. Now I'm gonna just turn it over to the leaders in our community and those who are involved in nonprofit organization. If you could introduce yourselves, and then we're gonna open it up to the session.